none that really that resonates with me like what happened in South Canyon. That was that was the one that really brought me to my knees and brought tears to my eyes and did all those emotional things it does to us when your friends don't come home and you have those tragic events. That really started my, that I was probably a more mindful firefighter. I can remember my first assignment after South Canyon. I was so paranoid about initial attacking a fire. I was ordered up as a Type 3 IC, and I can remember walking into a fire, parking my vehicle about a mile or two away from the fire and walking in, knowing I could have drove right to the edge of it. I didn't want to drive to the edge of it. I wanted to give myself more time and space, I guess. And finally got about halfway walking to this fire up the road I could have drove up, and I had that epiphany like, okay, Kevin, if you're going to be, you got to get it back together here. Yeah, so I lost confidence. I think a lot of us lost some confidence maybe after 94 that, man, are we doing the right thing? Are we too far on the edge? So it took some time to regain my confidence. Although I wasn't physically on South Canyon, I felt, I can only imagine what went on there. And it took a little while to get it back. And, I'd like to think my reputation before that was being, good, sound firefighter. I wouldn't have gave myself that evaluation off my first assignment. And it was like, maybe I'm overreaching being a Type 3 IC right after an event like that. But, once I got back into it, it was nice. On that incident, I rolled up there, got back in my truck, drove to the fire, tied in with the guys that were doing the initial attack. A couple of them were my friends that I've known for a long time, and it's like, okay, we're all in this together. We'll figure this out, and I'll kind of come back to you, So, yeah, it's that human terrain that I have sometimes the hardest time to navigate. How am I going to respond, how I'm going to react, and how those around me are going to respond and react. The changes in conditions in the environment and the stresses and things like that. So, but with all that said, it's still, the irony is that's what kind of drives us to doing this. We kind of like the randomness. We kind of like the challenge. We kind of like that. Yeah, let's take this messy situation and let's make it right. We're the white hats. We're responding when people are leaving. And I think you got to have some of that swagger or some of that edge if you're going to be successful. I don't say it's ego. It's just you got to have a way. We're going to here and solve this problem because someone is up against it. Someone's suffering, and we need to come in here and help whoever that person or people or agency or landowner, homeowner. They've asked us to respond, and rarely do we not. And when we do, we need to come in there and give it our best shot. That's the neat thing about it.